I'm Natalia Bonner. It's day 312. Today we're going to be stitching using my mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. Let's get stitching. I'll start out by using my blue Mark Be Gone marker and marking a T through the center of my circle quilt block. From there, I'll begin stitching on the left side of the block, stitching an angular point-to-point line. So I'm essentially creating a square in the center of my circle block. From there, I'll travel up my stitch line, moving up 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to stitch an inside echo around the inside of that block. So I'm holding the side of my ruler so it's right on top of my previous stitch line with my ruler foot. Then I just stitch straight along that line. My lines will cross over each other as I get to that outside edge. I'll cross over those lines and then I'm going to stitch in the ditch, now creating some alternating spaced lines. So the first 2 lines are 1/4 of an inch apart, so I'm lining the side of the ruler so it's right on top of the previous stitch line. Then I'll stitch a 1/4 inch spacing. Travel along my ditch or the outside of the block, and I'm going to make the next set of lines a 1/2 inch apart. So the side of my ruler will be right on top, or the first marked line, will be right on top of my previous stitch line. From there, I'm going to continue stitching those lines radiating out from the center of my block on all 4 sides that I've created. Now you'll see here that I did travel down to start at the bottom. For me, it's most comfortable and most natural to stitch from the bottom to the top, so I felt it was best to stitch in the ditch, travel down there, and then come back up. I'll repeat that on the top stitching, and then I'll travel along the ditch down to the bottom, where I'll repeat in that bottom side of the block. And as I'm stitching, you'll see I did mess up, and there was a couple of lines that were just 1/4 of an inch apart. But for me, sometimes I'll just leave those funny little design elements because they're like the human effect in the quilt, you know? A computer did not stitch these out. These are hand-guided ruler work quilting. Once I get back to that point where I started, then I'm going to travel along my stitch line, getting over to that center point. Then I'm going to adjust and use the medium size curve on the mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler and stitch point to point curves. So from the outside to the center, adjusting down to the bottom, back to the center, over to the opposite side, then back to the center and up to the top of the block, back to the center, and then back to where I started my stitching. I'll complete this design by misting away those blue marked lines. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed today's blog and found a little bit of inspiration with my machine quilting. Now just remember, you can pick up the panel, the rulers, the thread, all of the notions that I'm using in this video today over on my website, peaceandquilt.com. And don't forget to share your progress pictures over on Instagram using the hashtag Let's Stitch with Natalia. That's where we will be selecting winners for weekly prizes. See you all tomorrow.